I think of school as an environment of spaces where it is good to learn. Schools begin with a man under a tree who did not know he was a teacher, discussing his realization with a few who did not know they were students. The students reflected on what was exchanged and how good it was to be in the presence of this man. Soon spaces were erected, and the first schools became. The establishment of school was inevitable because it was part of the desires of man. Our vast systems of education, now vested in institutions, stem from these little schools, but the spirit of their beginning is now forgotten. The rooms required by our institutions of learning are stereotypical and uninspiring. The institutes required uniform classrooms, the locker-lined corridors, and other so-called functional areas and devices are certainly arranged in neat packages by the architect who follows closely the areas and budgetary limits as required by the school authorities. The schools are good to look at, but shallow in architecture, because they do not reflect the spirit of the man under the tree. That is why it's good for the mind to go back to the beginning, because the beginning of any established activity of man is its most wonderful moment. We can make our institutions great by giving them our sense of this inspiration in the architecture we offer them. In school, as a realm of spaces where it is good to learn, the lobby measured by the institute as so many square feet per student would become a generous Pantheon-like space where it is good to enter. The corridors would be transferred into classrooms belonging to the students themselves by making them much wider and provided with alcoves overlooking the gardens. They would become the places where boy meets girl, where the student discusses the work of the professor with his fellow student. By allowing classroom time to these spaces instead of passage time from class to class, it would become a meeting connection and not merely a corridor, which means a place of possibilities in self-learning. It becomes the classroom belonging to the students. The classroom should not follow the usual soldier-like dimensional similarity, because one of the most wonderful spirits of man under the tree is his recognition of the singularity of every man. A teacher or a student is not the same when he is with a few in an intimate room with a fireplace as in a large high room with many others.